being nice is just a corny, pointless
Damn!
We have now just entered the best month of the year. Zootopia 2 just came out in cinema. It's cold as shit in the UK, moving like the Arctic. And best of all, Christmas is right around the corner. The streets have started to line up. People are getting their houses ready. And some of you here have probably started writing out stuff you want to cop for Christmas. Whether it be an iPad, a PS5, or most likely, you may want a gaming PC. So you can start streaming, playing Marvel Rivals, or just spending all that money to play Roblox at high FPS. No judgment here, some Roblox games are fire. But the point I'm trying to make here is that for those of you that want to buy PC parts to build your own PC, you're never getting them. Because look at the prices of parts now, man. It's diabolical. All because of flipping AI. Samsung. They want to buy everything. I hate robots, man. Kill them all. But we're getting off topic here. It's been a pretty blissful year so far. And with the times changing, the seasons moving, and life just being different, I thought for this video, I would take it back and bring back an age-old classic. Ladies and gentlemen, you read the title. Welcome to Reasonable Crashouts 5. We have returned. It's been a month since I made any type of Crashout video, and I miss getting angry justifying some of these characters who had the right to destroy their own planets. I want my blood pressure to get high, man. And because this is the 5th installment in the Reasonable Crashout universe, I thought we could make this special, amazing, tantalizing, and turn it into the first of its kind, the anime edition. In this video, I'll be breaking down anime characters who had the biggest reason to do what they had to do, why their biggest battles and what may seem like their most evilest moments was really something a lot of us could understand and relate to. How they're just a normal person who got angry and, you know, they blow up an entire city. I mean, I get it, man. But I've spent way too much time yapping here. So without further ado, let's get into case number 1. And that is the legend, the GOAT himself, Sasuke Uchiha. And if we're being honest here, he's been hold from the start, man. When we're first introduced to Sasuke in the beginning of Naruto, he comes off as the brooding type, the kid who didn't like socializing and hated whatever attention he would get from the rest of his classmates and team. But the reason at the time why Sasuke was even like this was because his own brother murdered his entire clan and his parents and put him in a genjutsu of Itachi killing his parents over and over again. He tortured him when he was 7. Compared to Naruto, he was just an outcast and hated by the rest of his village for having the 9 tails in his stomach. It's not like he witnessed a massacre at that age. But Sasuke did, which traumatized him enough for his goal to be to exact justice against his own brother, which is valid. Before I go ahead to break down Sasuke even more, I just want to say this reason alone is enough, man. I don't even need to keep going at it. It's some bullshit. And Sasuke wasn't even some depressed emo kid his entire life. Before the massacre happened, he was a happy child. He had a loving family. He looked up to Itachi and wanted to be like him. He had a thriving community of people. He was a normal kid growing up until this happened, which messed him over. Then other characters in the show, like Naruto and Kakashi, would give him lectures, philosophies, and talks on how revenge won't help or it's bad to seek it out because it won't fulfill you. Horse shit! The kid witnessed a tragedy and you're playing it down so bad. His whole clan was wiped out in front of him. What are you talking about? You ain't put in on this, man. Like, look at the rage on Sasuke's face as a kid. When he finds out Itachi came to the leaf to kidnap Naruto, he was gunning for the guy. He spent a lot of his time after this moment as a kid, training, dedicating himself, and working hard to become strong enough to take this guy out. So much so that when he put him in another Tsukuyomi for 24 hours, reliving the worst moment in his life, bruv. At that point, I'm signing out. He was literally in the hospital recovering from this. I swear, that shit would piss me off, man. Sasuke by then was done with the normal shinobi shit they had in place and had to get more power by any means necessary, which meant rolling with the Sound 5 to go train with Orochimaru to become stronger, who also only wanted to get at Sasuke because later down the line, he wanted to take over his body. It's mad! And then when we get to Naruto Shippuden, that's when the crash out makes even more sense and gets me angry! After the time skip, when Sasuke finally gets his revenge on Itachi, killing him in their fight, Obito reveals the truth and everything that Itachi ever did to Sasuke was to protect him. That it was all under the plans and the ambitions of the Hidden Leaf that convinced Itachi to wipe out the Uchiha clan. That they were ostracized, treated like garbage compared to the other clans in the village. Spied on by the Anbu, which eventually led up to them staging a coup d'etat against the Leaf, which could have shaken up another ninja war. And Itachi didn't want this. When he was 4 years old, he witnessed the deaths of many people in the war and he wanted to protect the peace of the village, of everyone, which led him to following Danzo's orders to wipe out the Uchiha clan, killing his own parents, shouldering that entire burden by himself, becoming a rogue ninja, leading Sasuke to hate him, was all a part of his plan to awaken his Mangekyo Sharingan so he could eventually take revenge on him. He killed everyone he ever loved for peace in the Hidden Leaf, besides Sasuke, because he cared and loved Sasuke more than he did the entire village. That was the moment Sasuke realized he murdered his brother without knowing anything about him. He didn't even understand that the problem wasn't against Itachi. Even though Itachi is a bad guy, he still killed his parents, man. But Itachi only did that because at the time, they were left with no other option. Hiruzen is a horrible Hokage, bro. He was ass. He couldn't even look after Naruto properly, let alone keep the peace between the village and the Uchiha. He sucked, man. And Tobirama was just a racist. This guy did not rate any single Uchiha at all. That's why he put them on the outskirts of the village in the first place. He hated them. As far as I'm concerned, the whole village hated the Uchihas, man. They were dealt a shit hand for the longest time. No wonder they staged the revolution. The biggest problem in Naruto here that led Sasuke to becoming the tragic terrorist he was is the shinobi system itself. It's terrible. They had child soldiers. They were sending kids into the tuning exams, where the man them could have just died there and then. Tail beasts were being passed around villages and were given to children to make them Jinchuriki to fight in wars. Kakashi literally had to kill Rin to prevent her from becoming a weapon later. It's horrifying. Sasuke rebelled the system. When he said he wanted to become Hokage, that was to change everything wrong with their society, to make it fair, to break it down and make something better, so no child or person would have to go through what he went through to bring peace. Anyone who would say anything against the village is immediately a traitor. If you said burn the hidden leaf, the army would be on your case in the next 3 hours and murk you. It's crazy. I haven't fully seen Boruto yet, so I don't know if that same system is still being implemented and held to a certain degree in that show. But how can people hate and demonize Sasuke but glorify Itachi? That don't make no sense. Itachi did what he had to do, but Sasuke wanted to flip it and change that, so something like that could never happen again. Sasuke having a vendetta against the leaf was valid. Him hating everything that happened to him, his family, his clan, his oppressors was just making sense. And also he did us a big favor by killing that bitch Danzo. Burn that guy, man! And to add in a little extra here, everyone in the hidden leaf are a bunch of clout chasers, man, I swear. Besides Shikamaru, everyone used to hate Naruto when they were kids. But when he started to show how strong he was defending the village, everyone started dick riding him like crazy. It's mad. Not to mention, Sakura had the balls to make a dead parents joke. What the hell is this, man? Leading on to my next character, this brings me to Gon from Hunter x Hunter. And let's cut the shit. His crash out against Pito made no sense in the 2011 adaptation of the anime. He barely knows Kite to have that much of a reaction to his death. It doesn't add up here. But it turns out there's a lot more to it. In the latest version of the anime, they skipped a huge influence Kite had to Gon that come up in both the 1999 adaptation and the manga. And so with the powers of the 1999 anime, manga, and Reddit, I had a lot of help from Reddit, Gon doing all that shit to Pito was justified, man. It was adding up. In the 1999 anime and manga, Kite appears near the beginning where he saves Gon from a fox bear and bangs him in the face out of concern and thinking he was reckless. Kite then brings up his parents, asking him why they didn't teach him better than to walk in a forest alone by himself. Gon then replies and tells him that he lost both his parents in an accident. And then these two guys just start bonding. The two spend a lot more time together, exploring and going about their business, with Kite eventually revealing to Gon that he's a hunter and that he came to Whale Island to look for his teacher. And his teacher is none other than Gene Freeze. Kite was the first person in the show to tell Gon that his father is alive and that he's a hunter. Imagine hearing this, man, you'd be gassed. Gon in his early life was led to believe both his parents died in an accident. That's what Mito told him instead of just saying Ging was a deadbeat. This became a life-changing moment for him, which started his whole journey to find and seek out his father. It became his dream, his aspiration, his goal, and that would have never came to be if it wasn't for Kite sharing stories and telling him that his father was alive. He probably wouldn't have left Whale Island to go out on his journey. It shifted the course of his life forever. The man played an extremely significant role in Gon's early life, to the point where it influenced him to become a hunter, to go on his way, meeting Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio, going through the hunter exam to get his license, amplifying and learning how to use Nen, training with Biscuit on Greed Island, and everything else that happened in the show was all because Kite showed him that. So they already had somewhat of a bond before he appeared in the Chimera Ant arc. He was already close to him. Not to mention, he spent 2 months traveling and working alongside Kite and his team. So you know, they might have been doing some father-son activities. Kite at the beginning of the manga and the 99 show appeared to Gon as an early father figure. Even though their first interaction is brief, he has a major impact on him, inspired him, saved him, showed Gon what it meant to be a hunter and to pursue his own dad, which gave him a link to his father in the first place. If it wasn't for Kite, Gon would have never known anything about Gene, thus giving Gon one of the biggest passes to disrespect Pito like that. You see what my man did to Kite? He kept his corpse and turned him into a flipping puppet, bruv. I'm tweaking if I saw that. It's anime crash out 101. Anytime a loved one or someone they care about gets disrespected like that, or anything close to that, they instantly fall into a rage. Finito, they're finished. When Pito cut Kite's arm off, he was tweaking again, rightfully so, he was mad. But the worst thing about this is that the whole time, Gon thought he could save Kite. He thought there was still a chance he could come out there alive. Everybody else knew he was dead, but Gon stayed optimistic in the idea that Kite could come back. He even waited a whole hour of Pito fixing Komagi to then get them to heal Kite. But Kite couldn't be saved because his soul was already gone. And that moment when Pito confirms that he's dead, finito, finessed, finished, not coming back, dead, bruv. Gon might single-handedly have one of the most craziest anime breakdowns to ever exist. This guy lost the plot. And that became the day Pito lost their life, bro. I'm talking about they had that shit taken from them, ripped from them. Gon really said, there's no way out of this one. Because when this kid decided to become a JoJo character, he absolutely folded Pito. At that point, he didn't care anymore if he was about to make it out of that fight alive. He wanted to take them down with him. He was ready to lose it. Gon was so affected at Kite's death, he held out hope that Kite was alive for the longest time. He didn't believe anything happened to him. It took him till Pito confirmed to him that he was dead, that he gave up. Everyone else knew it, but they wouldn't bring up to how bad it would have affected him. Shit, they probably did that because they don't want to die themselves. But that just shows the type of weight Kite had to Gon. It's just essentially losing a loved one to a bad guy. Something that I'm hoping we can all understand. So was Gon right for how he acted against Pito? No questions, man, they deserved it. And so, this brings me to the final crash out of the video. One of my favorite characters from my favorite animes of all time. One of the many that truly changed how I see side characters. The legend himself. Now look, before I argue Vegeta's case, I'm not condoning any murders or crazy acts of violence the guy's done. Okay, that shit don't count. But what I am trying to defend with Vegeta is that I can understand to an extent why he was how he was. Vegeta is the prince of all Saiyans, a warrior race of aliens only known across different planets by fear. Fear of being destroyed or annihilated by them. And bear in mind, they were doing this shit way before Frieza came through. So the timeline of them taking over planets didn't matter. They were still doing it anyway. With Vegeta being the prince, this guy was praised heavy from the day he was born. He was getting glazed. He was giving main character syndrome from Jump. It was so mad that when King Vegeta found out Broly's power level as a baby was higher, he shipped him to a whole different planet. He was a hater. He couldn't let him be stronger than Vegeta. The first time we see this man is when he makes his appearance on Earth a year later after Raditz dies. And I ain't gonna lie to you. At the start, I thought Vegeta was a dickhead, man. This guy didn't care about anyone but himself. Bruv, he was unfazed at his whole planet dying. Frieza personally killed his dad, and this man had no pity whatsoever. Nappa even gave him the suggestion of reviving Raditz with the Dragon Balls, but the man just said, nah, I'ma wish for immortality instead. This guy's a dickhead. Then, the regular Dragon Ball Z shenanigans went down. Everyone else gets their asses whooped by the two Saiyans and the Cybermen until Goku shows up. He comes in, whoops Nappa with Kaioken, and Vegeta couldn't believe it. He wasn't understanding how a low-class warrior like Kakarot could beat an elite Saiyan warrior like Nappa. It wasn't making sense to him. And this is the point in the show where we see Vegeta's pride for the first time. This guy, for the rest of the show, gets an urge, an itch to beat Goku in a fight, to prove he's the strongest. And in their one-on-one fight, after Vegeta mercilessly killed Nappa, Vegeta got jumped, man. This shit ain't right. Granted, he was getting a beating from Goku, but when he turned into a great ape, it was over. The fight was finished. The only reason Goku survived here was because of Yajirobe cutting his tail off. It would have been over for him. And with Goku letting Vegeta go, telling Krillin to hold off on ending him, to him, that may have been one of the worst insults he's ever heard his entire life. He declares himself as the strongest Saiyan, and to get spared by someone he deems weaker than him, that's just gonna be a stab to the chest. He couldn't handle it. An experience like that, truly humbling. The next time we see Vegeta is on Namek, trying to once again seek out the Dragon Balls to wish for immortality. And yet again, he's a dickhead. Why is he killing the Namekians for? They ain't do nothing, man. But I ain't gonna lie though. My boy Vegeta was on a winning streak. He was handing smoke to people on Namek differently. He told Kui to sit down and shut up with the way he blew him up. Told Dodoria he needs to stretch with the way he had them hitting that Picasso. And had Zarbon begging for his life before he chucked an energy blast through his body. It's phenomenal. And then he gets his ass handed to him by Raccoon. And then Frieza gives him one of the worst ass beatings. He got humbled here. It was so bad. Vegeta put his pride aside and started crying to Goku on his deathbed, telling him about the demise of his planet, of their species. It had him broken. Then he died. The next time we see Vegeta again is on Earth, and he's chilling. He's gotten well accustomed to his human life. He's got a drip now, and he's got a baby by mashing with Bulma. But best of all, he's a Super Saiyan. Kind of. He once again gets to show how powerful he's become now with defeating semi-perfect Cell. But then his ego came out and he let the man absorb 18 when the whole time the Z fighters were trying to get her away from him, and Vegeta's head was so far up his own ass. He needed to prove himself by running the fade with perfect Cell. and we know how that went. But after this moment, we get one of the few saddest moments from Vegeta. After witnessing both Goku and Gohan's fight against Cell, Vegeta made a vow after Goku's sacrifice to never fight again. Obviously, this isn't forever. In the next arc, he gets back to it. But the point is, you can see in the moment how deeply this affected him. And in the Buu saga, I don't want to keep it too long, so I'm gonna just get ahead to it. He lets Babidi mind control him to become Majin Vegeta. And his sole reasoning for doing this is to once again beat Goku. Because no matter how hard Vegeta trained, how much effort he put in, how much work he was doing in the lab to get as strong as him, he realized he would always fall behind him, be in his shadow, never catch up to his strength no matter how hard he trained. It was that self-acceptance in Vegeta that allowed Babidi to influence him with his magic so he could settle the score with Kakarot once and for all. He reverted back to his evil nature solely so he could run the fade with him and win. And by my account, even though he cheap shot him at the end and Goku wasn't using Super Saiyan 3, it don't matter, Vegeta won this one. After their fight, he then knocks the life out of Goku to go fight Buu on his ones, and then we get this forever life-changing scene from Vegeta. Vegeta sacrifices himself. He tells Piccolo to grab Goten and Trunks, asking him beforehand on where he's gonna end up. And even though he said he's definitely going to hell, Vegeta still made up his mind and took it upon himself to end Majin Buu, taking himself with him. And this moment for me as a kid was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. To see Vegeta going from being an arrogant piece of shit who only cares about himself to building a family, adjusting to Earth, a rivalry, and all in all becoming more of a selfless individual was something I could relate to the most. The fact that he worked twice as hard as he could, trained non-stop to be better, to do better, was something inspirational to see as a kid. Him becoming a better person, letting go of his pride, even admitting to Goku saying that he's stronger than him was crazy. Vegeta let go of his past self and instead became a more fulfilled and less egotistical individual who let go of being some full-on prideful evil psychopath. I mean, he's still a bit prideful and became a protector that Earth could rely on. He called out to the people of Earth when Goku needed to charge a spirit bomb against Buu, and they heard him, but the point is Vegeta called for it anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, it's peak character development, what can I say? And do I stand for Vegeta bugging out against Goku and putting the group into the most dangerous situations just because he needed to prove himself to become this type of person? Hell yeah, man, everyone's a bit prideful, don't lie here. And this brings me to the end of yet another Crashouts video. If you disagree with any of the reasons I gave or got any more Crashouts you'd want me to jump onto speaking about, let me know. Once again, I appreciate all you watching the video to the end. I love you guys and have a great day. Goodbye.